Okay, so in this video I want to talk about my latest configuration of my Blackmagic Pocket 6K, and this video is not a review of anything. It is just merely to show the configuration that I'm using right now, in hopes that it will give other people ideas of what might work and not work for them in their setup. So in my previous video that I posted of my setup, I had a top handle. I didn't have the monitor, but I had a top handle and I had the battery mounted to the front of the top handle. So I changed things up out of need. I have a project coming up where I have to do some handheld stuff, so I needed side handles, but I also needed a monitor, and I wanted to mount, you know, when it gets into mounting this kind of stuff, as you know, if you're into it, there are just multitudes of configurations. When it came to buying the top handle, you know, do you want quarter 20 mount? Do you want the ARRI mount? Do you want a rail mount? It just gets mind-boggling after a while. So I went with the ARRI mount because it's nice and precise. You know, when you do the ARRI mount, I don't know if the camera can get it here. It looks like this, and you got the two pins, so you can go in and just lock yourself right into position. And you've got this big, I guess that's 3/8, and it just is a nice solid mount. And you have to stick an Allen wrench in here, or something long, doesn't have to be an Allen key, but something to, you know, really tighten it down. And once it's on there, it's on there. But it's also comes back off relatively quickly. And I just bought 3 of them. That was what I decided to go with. I liked it because of the ARRI mount. It's got cold shoe mounts here. It's got another ARRI mount up on the top of it. It's got quarter 20. But the big thing was it had the 15mm rod mount right here, and that was where I wanted to put the monitor. Obviously, there's times when you're shooting where you might be shooting up and you're not going to be able to see the screen of the camera. And this way I can kind of move this thing around. I have it on the rod. It's set pretty tight, but it's set loose enough. It's set tight enough that it doesn't move around, but I can tilt it like that, and I can do the same with the battery. Some people have already commented that have seen this in person and like, well, why do you have the battery up there? Well, first off, for me, it doesn't bother me. It's not in front of the lens. It's not really in front of my monitor here. And why not just put it up there? I can turn it on and off easy. I can unplug it, any connections. So for the battery, what I did was I took a cheese plate, just a cheap $9 cheese plate, and I took the battery apart, put the screws in from the inside into the cheese plate, and then just mounted it in. And I actually made 2 of these for less than the price that you could buy one battery. And this battery will shoot with the monitor. I had the timer set. I had the camera on, monitor with the fans on medium, and I had a timer on it for 2.5 hours. I came back in the room 2.5 hours later. The camera, the monitor, everything was still on. I still had some battery left, and I just said, I called it 2.5 hours. If I can get 2.5 hours out of it, that's great. So it turns on like that. Let's see, get the lens cap off, and as you can see, I'll just show real quick. I have a little old photography lens on here, one of those super Takumar lenses. It's a 50 prime. This is a Polar Pro lens, rubber lens cap cover thingy, and these things work pretty good for this type of a situation where you might have a variable neutral density filter that you can't put lens caps on. So let's see, we got to turn the monitor on, and so I don't have the monitor set on its brightest setting right now, and I am in the shade here. But just to give you an idea, if I was to let's see, go to monitor, and I took my brightness in the Blackmagic all the way up, you can see the difference. Let me make sure there's no reflection there. You can kind of see the difference in how clear, and of course this can pinch zoom, and I'm not going to really talk too much more about that, but I just wanted to show that that's the reason why I did it. This monitor, anybody that's got these cameras knows that the back monitor, the screen on the camera, put it that way, it's a good screen, but it's just, it doesn't articulate or anything. It's just there. And when it comes to daylight, it's just not that great. So moving on, that was why I mounted everything like that. Wanted everything up there. These things on the side, and this can come off and go handheld right away. And if you pull it in tight, you know, pull your elbows in tight to your body, it works great for being handheld. Right now, I mean, this lens has no stabilization on it at all. This is totally a manual lens. It's got to be focused manually, but it's got awesome shallow depth of field to it. It's an old lens, and I think I had it for years, and I bought it off of eBay for like 19 bucks. Anyway, so going over here to this side of the camera, in my old configuration, I had my SSD mounted right here where the handle is. And so I had to move it, and I wanted to retain using the SanDisk SSD cable that came with this. I have bought an aftermarket cables, and the short ones, the little stubby ones like this, the pigtails, I can't find a brand that has a short one that is a brand that will last more than 30 days. They just go bad. And the brands that are good, that last forever, that are maybe even better than this cable, are too long. And I've already got this big HDMI here that you have to have that. So I didn't want any extra cable. So because I'm using this short cable, therefore there's really not much place you can go with this SSD other than someplace right in this area. It won't even give you enough room to mount it up into this cold shoe. So it's just a little bit too short. So I did have it mounted over here. I wanted to put the handle, and I said, hey, the handle has a rod mount. We'll just get a 4-inch rod and we'll put that right there. And it just keeps it right close, and this area is still open if I need to get to my microphone jack, my headphone jack, if I need to get to this cable here. Everything's open. I do have a cable lock on there for the HDMI and for the SSD. So that is the reason for that. And then because we have the 15 millimeter mount over here on this, the 15 millimeter rod mount, I have another rod here. I haven't done anything with it. I have it on there just for the demonstration purposes of making this video. But you could put microphone here. You could put a light on here. You really could, you know, it's just another mounting point for something that would go on a rod. If not, you know, you just loosen that up and they come right out. So I'm going to stick it back in there so I don't lose it. And they are small rig rods. Again, I'll put links to everything in this video into the description box of this video so that you can kind of check it out if you want to. So that is my latest configuration. Now I am still using, I'll hold it up here so the camera can get it. I'm still using my Sigma 18 to 35. Right now I have a big variable density filter on here, but I love this lens. This is kind of my go-to lens, and I'm really, after the past couple of days shooting with this old photography lens, I like this baby too, but it's definitely manual focus, which is actually not that bad. It's not that bad because with these cinema cameras, you spend a lot of time focusing anyway. That's what it's all about. They're not, even if you, with the Sigma, you know, you can focus in camera, but I still end up adjusting stuff using the focus peaking. I mean, I have focus peaking turned on, and let's see right there. See, it doesn't take that long to focus something. The focus assist or peaking is a must-have. But if you want to, you know, you can zoom in and check out if you have to do that. So that is my latest configuration, and I'm so happy because it can come off and it can go handheld. And then for the few times that I do use this on a gimbal, all I have to do is take these two handles off, move this right to here, take this handle off, and just unplug everything, the handle comes right off. All this stuff stays on the handle. Let me get this zoom back out. This is what you're seeing right now. I'm going to be doing a video about this port keys, and you're seeing one of the things. Anyway, so when I'm going to a gimbal, all I have to do is this handle can come off, this handle can come off, this just has to go right here, and this can come off, and everything can get unhooked. And the monitor, if I want it to, can go on the gimbal handle, and I have an arm for that. The battery I don't worry about because I power this from the Ronin S. So actually, if I don't need the monitor when I'm on the gimbal, I just take this off, and I've already checked it out for time efficiency. It takes me, if I had to do it really quick, I can do it in like 4 minutes. If I take my time, it's just like a 6-minute change. Just pop the stuff off. It goes on the gimbal. I have a mount down here that lets me slide, because you know the Ronin S's have a problem where you got to be offset. So I can go pretty quickly from handheld to gimbal and back, and it's just works for me, put it that way. So that's what this video was about. It was just basically to show other people what the setup is, just to give you an idea, see what might work for you. Hey, leave comments. Always like to hear comments, good or bad. Just don't make them too bad. Hey everybody, if you like this channel, if you like the video, hit like. If you like the channel, hit subscribe and come back. I'm harmless, I don't hurt anybody, and I just like to talk about things that I bought and paid for with my own money, how I use them, give my ideas about it. Hey, thanks for watching and have a great day.